your soul, cause he's on a roll. The devil on the loose, the devil on the loose. So don't be a victim, keep resisting. Hold on to your children, keep protecting. And when the devil comes, well, you just have to say, yeah, yeah. Get out behind me, Satan. Get out behind me, Satan. Push back on the devil, push back on the devil. Don't get caught in this spell, cause you will not fare well. The thing to do is simply tell the devil, go to hell. The devil, the devil, the devil, watch the devil. He will not relent, cause he is hell-bent. The devil on the loose, the devil on the loose. This guy as well, you just cannot tell. It's the devil on the loose, the devil on the loose. So don't be a victim, keep resisting. Hold on to your children, keep protecting. And when the devil comes, well, you just have to say, yeah, yeah. Get out behind me, Satan. Get out behind me, Satan. Push back on the devil, push back on the devil. Don't get caught in this spell, cause you will not fare well. The thing to do is simply tell the devil, go to hell. The devil, the devil, the devil, watch the devil, the devil, the devil, the devil. All around you temptation, look around you temptation. All around you temptation, look around you temptation. Just say, yeah, yeah. Get out behind me, Satan. Get out behind me, Satan. Push back on the devil, push back on the devil. The thing to do is simply tell the devil, go to hell. Get out behind me, Satan. Get out behind me, Satan. Push back on the devil, push back on the devil. Don't get caught in this spell, cause you will not fare well. The thing to do is simply tell the devil, go to hell. The devil, the devil, the devil, watch the devil, the devil, the devil, the devil. All around you, all the devil, the devil, the devil, watch the devil, the devil, the devil, the devil. All around you, all the devil, the devil, the devil, watch the devil, the devil, the devil, the devil, watch the devil.
When he's Yes, Barbados, strict guardians of our heritage, firm craftsmen of our faith. That's who we are. That's who we are. This is it, guys. This is the flag that we march under. This is it, Father. This is it. This is it. And I want to say a pleasant good evening to everybody who's watching. You are watching the Marcia Week Show, and we are coming to you live from Barbados, beautiful Barbados, the most easterly island of just right all the way over there. You know, it's almost like God took us and put us a little bit over there to himself, right? And that's where we are coming to you live from. But guess what? We serve the entire Caribbean region, the Africa and the African diaspora. Here on the Marcia Week Show, we educate, we motivate, we mobilize, we activate. Yeah, that's to agitate. I'm sorry, we agitate. That's it, so agitate. And somebody says it's Emma. It's all about Emma. It's all about Emma on the Marcia Week Show. Educate, motivate, we mobilize, and we agitate. That's what we do on the Marcia Week Show. And some of you might have seen that we had a birthday yesterday, Tuesday, and we weren't on, but we sent out a notice to let everybody know it's our birthday yesterday, June the 19th, 2020 was when we were born. Yes, the Marcia Week Show, the first show. Can anybody tell me before I greet you? Can anybody tell me who was the first guest on the Marcia Week Show? Who knows? Who was the first guest on the Marcia Week Show? No, we don't manipulate, Easy D. That's what the party that you represent does. We don't manipulate on here. Anybody want to tell me what is the Easy D, you're funny. Who was the first? No, not Caswell, frankly, not at all. We started June 19th, 2020. Not I know you're kidding, Easy D. Not Caswell Franklin. Who is going to tell me? Who is going to tell me who was the first guest on the Marcia Week Show? If you can tell me who was the first guest on the Marcia Week Show, then we're going to have a prize for you. We will have a prize for you. It's a historian. Yes, it was a historian. Yes, it was a historian. So I'm going to go ahead and start greeting the people, and then we're going to get back to that. 5 years. We're celebrating 5 years. And we thank all of you, Teroni Hall. We thank you. Teroni Hall. We thank you, Monica Ince, that we have reached 5 years. Esther Blue, thank you, Queen D. Oh my goodness, Bajan Boy, thank you so much. Marcia Miller, thank you. Judy Dillix, thank you so much. Flo Joe, on behalf of the Marcia Weeks, our team, thank you, all of our presenters. Don't we have like the best presenters? They are amazing, aren't they? Born Again, thank you. Shirley, thank you. Bonnie Springer, thank you. UB Shepherd, thank you. Thank you. Marva Hunt, thank you. Thank you, Winnie. Thank you, Matthew Brown, for logging in and for liking and sharing. Hazel Carrington, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. 5 years we're celebrating. We need to really celebrate Jade and Jack. Sonny. Sonny, you love you some RPB music. What do you know about RPB? Sonny is a transplant like myself. Marcia, hello, but I tell you, she is a little woman, but she's so strong. Patrick Designs, Shirley. Sonny, say hi to your husband for me. I know he just got back in. Easy D, we thank you. Easy D, you never collected your cup. You won the Marcia Weeks Cup. Remember, you were the one who won when we did the draw. You won the Marcia Weeks Cup. And the Marcia Weeks Show Cup. And the first person who tells me the name, we're going to order one of these for you. You're going to win this. Okay, I promise you. So let's see. I'm going to wait till I see who that if somebody wins it. Okay, when I get there, David's telling me. So Easy D, thank you. We appreciate you, Easy D, but when we're talking serious matters, we just like for you to ease off. It's fine. You can have a dissenting opinion, but please, the joking when it's serious, we're talking about crime. Let's focus a bit. Michael Jokes, Tyrone Blackman. Somebody said Dave. Easy D, it was no white man. It was no white man. I don't know where you got that from, Easy D. You are wrong, Easy D. Cami said, blessed Sabbath. Yes. A lot of people are having their Sabbath now. Trevor Victoria's Queen, you got it. Trevor Marshall was our first guest. And I told you the story on here, but you're not listening. Some of you. Heather Rock got it, but Victoria's Queen, she was first. Take a bow, Victoria's Queen. Are you in Barbados? Please call us at 236-7000. 236-7000, please. Thank you, Victoria's Queen. Wonderful. Heather Rock did get it, and M. Gardner did. Somebody said, was it Halloween? No. No. Dale Warren, good night. Yes. Yesterday was Thursday, but it was our birthday. So it was June 19th. We didn't have a show, but it was the birthday of the Marcia Week show. 5 years. No, Trevor Prescott was on. Jade, you remember that. You are so true. Trevor Prescott was a guest on our show. Yes. When they had moved him as a minister, he came on our show to complain. Yes, he did. Shirley, hi. Yes, tell him hi. Hope he's having some of that nice grapefruit juice. Sir Alfred Benjamin, I have a great news to tell you tonight, and I'm going to tell you soon that the Honorable Ralph Thorne will be in New York. Sir Alfred Benjamin, and I think you should go out and hear him. No, his Harris, no. Oh, wonderful. Listen, they're making fun at you, Easy D, and they said you can't take the cup because if you take the Marcia Week show cup, you're going to be in trouble. But you want it fair and square, Easy D. Easy D. It seemed to me, though, you don't want the cup, Easy D. Easy D, it looking to me like you don't want this cup. Huh? Yes. Wishing us many more. Many more. Yes. Wonderful. Well, I mentioned that the leader of the opposition, the Honorable Ralph Thorne, will be in New York, and I believe Dave has a flyer for that. And while I talk about it, I think Dave is going to put that flyer up because he has the flyer there. I believe he's going to put it up. But let me just tell you about it. The Democratic Labour Party of Barbados and the Friends of Barbados DLP Association, Inc., they are having a town hall meeting. They said we're excited to extend a special invitation to all of our members, supporters, and friends in the USA. It's an address by the political leader, a frank discussion on national and party issues, and a Q&A session. It's the Honorable Ralph Thorne, KCMP, leader of the opposition, political leader of the Democratic Labour Party. And the date is Sunday, July 13th. 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. This is going to be at St. Albans Church, right there in Brooklyn, New York. Okay? And the numbers are here. There's a Barbadian number that you can call for information. And there's a U.S. number, that's 646 number. The DLP website is on here, and also their We can't see it. I don't know if it could go up a little higher. Yes, thank you, Dave. You can see the website for the opposition leader, BarbadosOpposition.com, and then they have an email there as well. So you have all the numbers. If you are in the US, you could take the time and go down. Yes, yes, thank you. We removed the banner. Yes, Angel Humble. And yeah, so we want you to go down and ask your frank questions of the leader of the opposition. You are concerned about what is happening in Barbados. Go and have a talk with him. A lot of times we like to complain about different things, that we're seeing happening. You have questions about the DLP. Go out and have a conversation. That's a good time to have a conversation with the leader of the opposition. Go out. Those of you might live in Connecticut and New Jersey and surround states, neighboring states, Boston, these places. Drive up and make a weekend of it. Okay, and go to the St. Albans Church. And Dave, if we could make it a little smaller so that we can all see what's going on here. So the Democratic Labour Party and the Friends of Barbados DLP Association Inc., they are having a town hall meeting. And I like the fact that it's a town hall. You don't have to agree with the Honorable Rob Thorne to be at the meeting. Go and ask your frank questions. Make it a frank discussion, and find out what is happening. We, as the loyal opposition, the voice of the loyal opposition, we're going to advertise this because here it is. The leader of the opposition of Barbados is going to New York, and we know we have quite a few of you who watch the program. Sometimes you watch it after it has ended, and some of you are watching it right now. We're going to ask you to share. Go ahead and share this information and share this show tonight so that those in New York and the surrounding states are able to go to this event. Go pack out the place, man, and let there be some Bajan love. Right? Even those from the BLP, go to the meeting and ask him the straight questions. Why stay away and mumble? Right? And you need to RSVP. RSVP by July 9th. We tend to don't like to RSVP or us Caribbean people. But get into the habit of doing that so that if there is any preparation and so on, they can make the proper preparations for you. All right? So go ahead and get it done. Okay? Yes? All right. Wonderful. We're going to keep telling you about that. And as more information comes to hand, but we're going to ask you kindly to share that. Now, we showed you some stories from Dominica. Do you remember that? Do you remember there was a story where one woman, she was 80, I think 83 or 84, and her experience was that as they lifted her up and was removing her from the tear gas to take her higher, her glasses fell. Who remember that? And the glasses fell, and she hasn't had a pair of glasses since 2019. And in her mind, she's not going to get a pair of glasses again. And somebody in the diaspora, and Dave, if we can get that letter up for me tonight, I got permission to read the letter. Someone sent this beautiful letter to me, and yes. So my Dave is going to put the letter up. But guess what? You know how we do it here on the Loyal Opposition, and that's what I love about what we do. I love it, and we caught this from none other than Caswell Franklin. And Maxine McLean as well. Caswell Franklin, Maxine McLean, and these two individuals, they have such a heart for the community and for people. And I know that they, I've always had that, but I was strengthened by them. And Mr. Franklin opened up his place and did a lot of, allow us to do a lot of this humanitarian work. and in fine spirit, as we do on the Marcy Week Show, the loyal opposition, we got a letter brought to my house, hand delivered, and it's coming from Care Isles, and it is 592 East 99th Street, Brooklyn, New York. And they said, Marcia Weeks, a host, the Marcia Weeks show addressed to me, dear Marcia Weeks, I'm reaching out on behalf of Care Isle Incorporation, an independent nonprofit organization located in Brooklyn, New York, committed to serving individuals across the Caribbean by performing philanthropy works across island hospitals and geriatric communities. We recently learned of the elderly lady mentioned on your show, Emmeline Anthony from Salisbury. And it's gone, Dave, it's gone. Something else has come up, another ad. But the point is, though, as we wait on that to come back, the point is that what has happened is that Care Isle Inc., what they have done is that they have sent to us $300 US. $300 US was sent to us. And that $300 US is for the replacing. We're having some challenges tonight with that letter. The replacing of the glasses, right? The replacing of her glasses. They were tested glasses that she lost during the tear gas, when they were tear gas. Okay, and see the amount there. They've put it where the amount is. And today I contacted Mr. Hector, and he is going to. This lady, they're going to get her eyes retested on Monday. And, we're going to show you the story of her getting those glasses on and everything. And we also there was one other brother from Barbados who said, I want to give $100. And that might go into, the testing of her eyes, etc. And any other incidentals, whether it is to get her to the optician or whatever other incidentals that she has in getting her glasses. Okay. Yeah. So that is what is happening. Can we give Care Isle a big hand? Come on. Let me see that. Let me see the thumbs up and the and all of that. Let's see that. That's what we do. I know Mr. Franklin would be very, very happy to know we're continuing this tradition on the show. All right. So let me see the thumbs up and the hand clapping and the hand waving. Yes, to Care Isle. That is wonderful. That's how we do it. And this charity is run by Barbadians, and I keep telling you, Barbadians are some of the kindest people that I know. When we did this, I knew that we need to do something, right? Yeah. So we want to say thank you to Care Isle. Okay, wonderful. Come on, guys. Yes, this is wonderful. And that lady doesn't know yet. So this is going to be such a surprise when they go to get her, to take her to get her eyes retested, because it's so long ago. And I think that is a wonderful gesture. And that is what we do. Yes, that's what we do. That's what we do here. And guys, to God be the glory. We give him all the glory. Now, another announcement. We have lots of announcements. Miss Dujon, who remember Felicia Dujon? Felicia Dujon has been taking ice cream to the children in class 4. And she said she did that because her son who goes to a primary school here, came home and told her that some of the students were crying because they didn't pass for the good schools. And some of them, they felt really badly about that, And so she said, that she felt moved to be a blessing to all of those, to the rest of the students, so that they feel, some of them will cheer up. And so Mr. John started to buy, she started this whole thing with one class 4 buying ice cream. And so she's been taking ice cream to class 4 students throughout Barbados. Now she started, I think she started in St. James North. I believe so. I might be wrong, and I'm sure she's listening. She'll correct me. And she's been to a couple of the schools. And so if you want to cheer up all the class 4 students, because you know how that can be sometimes. If you want to cheer up all the class 4 students, no, Easy D, this is why you're so wrong. Easy D, look at your comment. Okay, no, look at your comment, Easy D. This is what I'm so glad you're watching the show, Easy D, so you can be educated. On the Mars 6 Week Show, remember, we educate, we motivate, we mobilize, and we agitate. All right? So we educated Easy D tonight. Come on. Come on, Easy D. Here's Mr. John. And Mr. John is very busy in the constituency and very busy at various schools. And she's taking ice cream for all of them, just to put a chair on their faces so that, you know, and if you want to help Mr. John, if it is that you want to help Mr. John to continue this, she has to complete this by next week, because schools are going to be closed. All right, very soon. She said she only has one more week. Message us at 236-7000. 236-7000, the number that we put up all the time. Okay, the number, the Marcia Week Show number, loyal opposition number. Everybody know that number. Even those that hacking it and those that doing the thing, they know the number. So let me know, and I will pass your number on to Mr. John so that you can give her a donation if you so desire. Okay, or you want to buy ice cream and take it to your it's, you know, it could be your school, your alma mater, that's the school that you went to, and you want to take ice cream. Call up the principal and just let the class 4 children be happy. How about that? Yeah, do you all think that's a good idea? You think she's doing a good thing? Yeah, I think she's doing I think she's doing a good thing. I think that's a good thing. And we're not surprised, because that's Mr. John. She's just a person with a big heart. You know, I really like her. I really like Mr. John, honestly. Win, lose, or draw, she has a very, very big heart, right? So those of you, so we're doing a lot of, you know, a lot of this. See, she's there again, another school there, dropping off the yeah. So this is Mr. John, and she's dropping off the ice cream. Yes, a wonderful person. Guys, are we sharing? Are we liking? We're going to get into some juicy things tonight. We're going to talk about the emblems. I wanted to have a frank discussion about the emblems. And I want to talk to you about who we think they're putting up as the next president. Okay, we're going to get into that. All right. But on Sunday, Dave, there is a poster you have there of three opposition, three leaders in the Caribbean. Two opposition leaders, and one is a party leader of the largest opposition party in Dominica. They are all going to be on the show on Sunday. Sunday, we have a big show coming up. I know Easy D was asking if Mr. Thorne is coming on the show. Well, we have the Honorable Ralph Thorne, opposition leader of Barbados. Dr. Thompson Fontaine, he's the political leader of the United Workers' Party of Dominica. And Honorable Aubrey Norton, remember he was on and we loved him. He's the opposition leader of Guyana. And he's going to be on. Hopefully, we might get a recording from the opposition leader, that is Dr. Friday, from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. They're checking his schedule, and I've set the questions ahead of time, and we're going to see if he's going to be able to do a recording of the answers for us. So our show is going to be a bit different for Sunday. Okay, yeah. So this is what is happening Sunday. You got to tune in. Tune in on Sunday. All right. Tune in on Sunday. This is what it is. And if Dave could go a little, let us see the top of the poster. Thank you so much, Dave. It says rigged or real. And what are we talking about? The truth about elections in the Caribbean. And we are seeing some nuances and some cause of concern. If you notice, there's a question there. Are the elections rigged? Are they real? And so we're going to have some conversations about that. And I think that is going to be a great one. And I think somehow it's going to be the first of many. We're also trying to find get a female opposition leader, and where someone is helping us to get, I believe she's from Antigua. And so we're hoping that we'll be able to get her on the show. All right. I believe she's from Antigua. We're hoping that happens, but who we have confirmed are these three gentlemen. Okay. Dr. Fontaine, Honorable Rob Thorne, Honorable Aubrey Norton. Okay. They are confirmed. Anybody looking forward to the show? If you're looking forward to the show, let me see thumbs up. Come on. It's an interactive show tonight. Let me see thumbs up. Come on, guys, in the chat. Come on, guys. Come on, loyal opposition. Let's not get into that fighting tonight. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. We are here about Barbados' business. That's what we are here about. Yeah? We're going to be discussing real solution to Barbados's crime crisis. We want to talk about the death penalty. Should we have that? Should citizens fight back criminals? We're going to talk about the gun court. Some serious solutions. These are not man-pipan. This is not a tint. This is not tint. But we are going to be talking about some real serious solutions is what we are going to be talking about. Yes, people are liking the show and they're going to tune in. So when you see it, we put it up already. You can start to share it. If you're watching from Dominica, share it. You're watching from Guyana, share it. Okay, let's have a good CARICOM show on Sunday. All right. That is wonderful. That is wonderful. Right. All right. Now, St. Philip. We told you that we were going to have the St. Philip. Dave, do we have that little thing that we gave you? I think it was sent to you, Dave, this evening. We did it over. Okay, so this one, I'm going to tell you this. We have a little video for you of the what am I saying? St. James not by election. That is gone. That is gone. We put up the wrong thing, guys. That is not so. Where is it? Yes. So, St. Philip, we have a very special motorcade called Get Thee Behind Me, Satan. Because somehow all of this crime seemed to start to raise its ugly head. So Sunday, June 29th, right? And it's at 1:30. This one doesn't have the 1:30 on it, but 1:30 p.m. is when we are going to be meeting at Chanel Supermarket, right? Not this Sunday, the following Sunday. Yeah? You can go ahead and play, Dave.
The thing to do is simply tell the devil go to hell. The devil, watch the devil.
Yeah. So that is what is happening on the 29th of June. Not this Sunday, but the following Sunday. And we're going to start at 1:30. And we're meeting at, some people say call it Trimart still. But it's going to, it's Chanel Supermarket, but I think it's changed, you know, it was Trimart. Most people know it as Trimart. Right there in St. Martin's. That's where we're meeting, 1:30. We gather there, and then we're going to head out. All right. So we need everybody come on board. Why are we doing this? We're going to be praying as we go along. Okay. Secondly, we're going to be sharing some tips with the neighbors that we've received from the police of how to secure your surroundings. How do you secure your family? What can you do? Because we can't just depend on the police, and we certainly, I'm telling you, do not fool yourself and believe that you're going to be able to depend on this government, because I'm going to speak to you about some things that came to my knowledge today and over the last week to prove to you that in my humble opinion, this government has no desire. Let me not. Really, they don't have any plan to deal with. They don't have any plans really to deal with this crime. There's none, and I'm going to show you why I believe that's my opinion, and you can determine that from what I share with you tonight. Okay? Yeah. Okay. All right. So this is what is happening on Sunday, or not this Sunday, the following Sunday. So the march, I mean not the march, the motorcade and prayer drive, it's both spiritual and it's practical. It's a community coming together to take care of the community. All right, we're coming together. We're going to talk about neighborhood watches. Sometimes in more of the heights and terraces, you will see neighborhood watches. But in some of the smaller in villages and so on, you don't have neighborhood watches. We're going to talk about that on the microphone, why it's important. We're going to ask those that have neighborhood watches to strengthen the neighborhood watches. And this is something that we're hoping the loyal opposition, working with each parish, that we're going to take it through the parish and work with those parishes that are the most vulnerable at this time, where we're getting most of the cases. We're going to go to those parishes and we're going to talk with the people. We're going to have that community spirit and realize that we're going to have to do something on our own. We cannot depend on this government. Don't depend on them. Don't depend on them. Yeah, very, very important. Okay, so Dave, if you could play the ad one more time.
Get thou behind me, Satan. Get thou behind me, Satan. Push back on the devil. Push back on the devil. The thing to do is simply tell the devil go to hell. Get thou behind me, Satan. Get thou behind me, Satan. Push back on the devil. Push back on the devil. Don't get caught in the spell, cause you will not fare well. The thing to do is simply tell the devil go to hell. The devil, the devil, the devil, watch the devil.
And we are telling the devil in these people, in all parishes, get thee behind me, Satan. And we start in St. Philip. We're on a roll. We are on a roll. And this get thee behind me. Those of you who are going to say, oh, it's also spiritual. No. There's a practical component to this. We will be speaking with the police. We've started already and getting points. What we need to tell the community. So we understand you drive out the devil spiritually and practically. And when Plastic Bag says, push back on the devil. Listen, take your mind out the gutter. Push. When we say push, those in church, you say pray until something happens. P-U-S-H. Push. Pray until something happens. That's how you push back on the devil. Push. Pray until something happens. That's how you push back on the devil. Pray until Sorry. Oh Lord, help me tonight. Damn, why you have me laughing out loud so vulgar? I'm so loud. This loud, crass laugh. Damn, why you do this? This is us pushing back on the devil, but the devil look big. But anyway, we do it all. That's us pushing back. We pray until something happens. So when Bag says push back on the devil, right? Matthew Sainsbury, that's what he's saying. Pray until something happens. That's what we're doing in our parishes. And we're saying we're not going to be waiting. We are going to pray until something happens. Yes? And yes. Dave, if we could just play that song while we just give me a little break here. And because we're going to tonight, I had my guest while I'm getting ready, minutes to 7, says, listen, my class has gone over, I can't come, so I'm missing a guest. But don't worry, this is going to happen tonight, one way or the other. All right, so Dave, if you could play Plastic Bag again for me, as we get ready now to go into a couple segments here and some discussions.
The devil out here, so please be aware. The devil on the loose, the devil on the loose. So protect your soul, cause he's on a roll. The devil on the loose, the devil on the loose. So don't be a victim, keep resisting. Hold on to your children, keep protecting. And when the devil comes, well, you just have to say, yeah. Get out behind me, Satan. Get out behind me, Satan. Push back on the devil, push back on the devil. Don't get caught in this spell, cause you will not fare well. The thing to do is simply tell the devil, go to hell. The devil, the devil, the devil, watch the devil. He will not relent, cause he is hell-bent. The devil on the loose, the devil on the loose. Disguised as well, you just cannot tell. It's the devil on the loose, the devil on the loose. So don't be a victim, keep resisting. Hold on to your children, keep protecting. And when the devil comes, well, you just have to say, yeah. Get out behind me, Satan. Get out behind me, Satan. Push back on the devil, push back on the devil. Don't get caught in this spell, cause you will not fare well. The thing to do is simply tell the devil, go to hell. The devil, the devil, the devil, watch the devil, the devil, the devil, the devil. All around you temptation, look around you temptation. All around you temptation, look around you temptation. Just say, yeah. Get out behind me, Satan. Get out behind me, Satan. Push back on the devil, push back on the devil. The thing to do is simply tell the devil, go to hell. Get out behind me, Satan. Get out behind me, Satan. Push back on the devil, push back on the devil. Don't get caught in this spell, cause you will not fare well. The thing to do is simply tell the devil, go to hell. The devil, the devil, the devil, watch the devil, the devil, the devil, the devil. All around you, all the devil, the devil, the devil, watch the devil, the devil, the devil, the devil. All around you, all the devil, the devil, the devil, watch the devil, the devil, the devil, the devil.
Listen, folks, I am telling you, there is an onslaught of satanic, I don't know, diabolical wickedness that is seeking to take root in this country. And I say to us, that is when we come together, the people. And folks, this thing is so serious. It is so serious that, did you listen last night what happened? Not last night, 2 nights ago, right there in Caneville. Did you hear that woman screaming? Can you imagine if you were in your house? I don't know if Dave had that. We didn't have it to be played. Okay? If somebody can just send me that, the Caneville, I know I have it. But we had so many things to play today. I didn't have it to play. But I know you guys will send it to me. Right? Did you hear the screaming of that woman in her own house? She is in her house and they are littering gunshots all about. That looks like Barbados to you? Huh? Let me tell you something. A lot of you can see that evil. You see that and you recognize the evil one time. You don't have to be religious or spiritual, because I hate that word. That I hate religion. But there's a spiritual component to what is happening. Just as in COVID was a spiritual component to that, because you have some evil people. There are some evil people that they are trying to cause. Let me tell you something. They are trying to cause unrest in the country so that what they're going to go a state of emergency. A state of emergency. They lock us in our house. A spirit of fear. Do you realize with the COVID came a spirit of fear? Did you realize that? Did you realize that with COVID came fear on us all over the world? What is gripping Barbadians' heart today? Fear. People don't want to go out until by 6 o'clock. They want to get in once it's dark. We were planning this motorcade, and we said no. By 6 o'clock we need to be finished so that people can get home. And I want you to hear this, because I don't want it to think, because I know somebody's going to say, thank you, my brother Paul. I know my people, because we're in this thing together. Let me tell you something. We have God and we have each other. Because what I'm going to share with you tonight, I am proposing to you tonight that this government has no plan. The plans that they have, no. They have something else up their sleeves. They have other plans for us, Barbados. You hear what I tell you? Dave, I just sent it to you. Folks, stay with me tonight, guys. Yes, in Caneville. Yeah? Listen, Caneville. I want everybody, as Dave is getting ready to play this for me, I want everybody to imagine you're in your house. There are many houses there, as you can see on the street, and you hear that barrage of gunshots. I want you to imagine. Imagine that for me, no? Play it for me, Dave. Thank you. You want to go Folks, have you yet imagined that you're in that house or the house across the street or the house behind there where you see the car is? Because it wouldn't just be this house alone on the street. This camera picked up this, but everybody on that street and even in the street next door would be affected. What about the children? I want to take a moment because a lot of times we don't empathize because you know what, it didn't happen to me, right? There's a thinking that it did not happen to me, but I want us tonight to really begin to think, what would you have done? Something is not regular about here. I agree with you, Esther Bloom. I'm pausing to read your comments. Yes, agree. Easy D. Those of you who are overseas, you're not understanding yet what's going on. Is this Barbados? Is this Barbados? Can't believe it. Matthew Sainsbury says it's a sick situation. Wow, Teroni is saying it's a normal thing for him with the era that he lives in. And this is what I want some of us to understand on here. This is why I play it on here, I play it because I want us to understand it. Not everybody hear this all the time, but I'm getting to understand. Teroni said it, and I was speaking to some others, and they said to me, Mrs. Weeks, this is what we hear all the time. This is a regular thing for us. This is serious, Barbados. Huh? That's the thing about it. I don't understand. There is a plan that they have because there is no way that they are all of these that's a high-rise building. There's a good point, Sonny. That is that all these high-rise buildings going up, and you're going to tell me now that you're going to have people coming here to be shot. I know that the crimes against the tourists, it's underreported. We know that. That's a fact. It's a fact. The crimes against the tourists underreported. We hear about these crimes against the tourists when they go back and they use social media to tell us. We know they're underreported. So I want you to soak it in. I want you to soak it in, and I want you to put yourself in that position. What if they had little children, they're playing on the outside? Anybody stop and thought about that? What if there were little children playing on the outside? What if somebody was sitting outside on a step? What if somebody's head was pushed through a window? Correct. It sounds like a scene from a movie. I'm reading your comments. That's why I'm quiet. Because I want it to sink in. Because sometimes we are talking, but I want it to sink in. Those of you who live in the heights and terraces, I want it to sink in. I want to understand the trauma. And then we see some of these children that live in these homes that have experienced this. They go to school Monday morning, you know. These kids had to, whoever live in this house and on this street. We know people that children that live in Cane Vale, right? They have to go to school. Don't underestimate that, you know. I told you on the show already that for me as an adult, got married and I was still jumping and screaming in my sleep after I left Jamaica and left the community I came from. Because that is what I heard all the time. It's a serious thing. And I need us to think about what's happening here. Now, tonight we're going to Mr. Reverend Scantlebury is going to join me. And we're going to look at some real solutions. Some of these solutions have been presented by Mr. Thorne. Mr. Thorne has presented some of these solutions. And one of them we're going to talk about tonight. One, he did ask the question. He asked a question about the death penalty. He asked a question for us to have that national discussion about it. He talked about the gun court. We're going to delve into some of that tonight because what we need some serious discussions. We have to now talk about us as citizens. How are we going to protect ourselves? What can we actually do to protect ourselves? Now, I want to say to us, folks, we need to get our heads out the sand. If you notice, unless the Lord helps us, this is not getting any better. We can't say this is getting better. We can't say that this is getting any better. We're going to pray. We're going to do all the things that we need to do. There's some things that are long-term, and then there's some things that we've got to do it now. We got to do it now. And that's the thing with this government. We are not seeing the emergency of the situation. There's an urgency. We're not seeing it. We're not seeing any urgency. It's like the way that they're moving. And when Apostle comes, I'm going to start to share some of the things that I discovered today that we always knew, but my research has given me some more information for you tonight. But can you imagine, guys, that in the midst of all of this that is happening, in the midst of all of this is happening, you just saw that happened 2 nights ago, screaming, people scampering, people, and it's happening in different parishes. We have lots of robberies. And then out of the blue, we are being distracted. The government of Barbados they have decided that they're going to distract us with emblems. Anybody saw that? Did anybody see that article? I'm sure Dave has that and he will put it up soon. Huh? Let me see. Anybody saw that about the emblems of Barbados? This is one of the reasons I'm telling you. I'm telling you, these people are not serious. They are not serious. This government is not serious about the increase in crime. They're not serious in presenting and doing anything about this crime situation. They're not serious. They can't be. They can't be. When people are scampering and running from bullets in this country. All right. So Dave, it's there now. Barbadians are encouraged to come out and share their views on the national emblems, symbols, and celebrations that define us. Was there a problem with the emblems? Are we anybody out there having any problems with the national emblems? Anybody? Did anybody? Who are the people that are having a problem with the national emblems of Barbados? They want a conversation on the symbols of Barbados on June 26th. The article is right there. June 26th. At the Queen's Park Steel Shed, starting at 5:30. And I wish some of you will go down there and let them know what is it that you want to discuss. Who told them that anybody had a problem with emblems? When did we have a problem with emblems? I want, you know what? I want to hear from you. Apostle is coming in now. When did we have a problem with emblems? They are looking at this. Our flag. When did we have a problem with our flag? The only time we had a problem with our flag is when the Prime Minister of this country took the flag to Ghana and put it in the ground. What are they trying to do? Change the flag? They said the coat of arms, the pledge, the anthem, or celebrations. Is it the independence that these are coming back around to tell us in the middle of us running from gunshots, scared to go outside? The town hall meeting that this inept government decides to have is a town hall meeting about emblems. Can I see a show of hands, please? How many of you are being affected by the emblems of Barbados? I want you to understand, I want you to see, this is the government that you voted in. The government who told you that they care about you. This is the flag they drape on a coffin. What is wrong with the emblems? Today, I reached out to someone in government to ask them, is this something being done, required because we are now a republic? Because I sincerely was trying to understand. I was sincerely trying to understand. And I was told, reliably informed, no, because they've already changed the Royal Barbados Police Force to Barbados police services. They've taken the name royal off. Anything with any vestige of that's left of the Queen of England, they have removed those. So why are you coming to touch our emblems? Huh? That's why they're in Ghana, overseeing it, overseeing the flag being put in the ground and touching the ground. They started to shovel dirt on it. They did. And then some people say it was it remained in the ground, buried there. I was told that it was taken out. But she was there. See there? And she is now having a town hall to talk to us about the emblems. Now, I am being told, correct, the emblems are the symbol of our heritage. I'm going to bring in Apostle. I think he's settled now. Let me see, Apostle, are you settled? Settled? Give me a thumbs up. Yes. Good night, Apostle. You've come in the middle of me here in this.
Yes, ma'am. Good night to you, Madam Weeks. And
yes.
Again, thank you so much. Good night to the viewers, and thank you so much for having me on the show again.
Yes, sir. It's a pleasure having you. And
I
know you're fired up about this ritual here. And I don't know if you saw the well, we're getting a sound coming through. Is that from who? Okay. There's a noise coming through.
Let me try to just lower my stuff down a bit. How's that? Is that better?
Hello,
I can
hello.
have my stuff up to all.
Yes, okay. All right, yes. That's a bit better.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Yes. Reverend Scantlebury, there is a town hall meeting on the 26th to discuss our emblems.
Okay.
The flag, the anthem, the coat of arms, all of our emblems. And I'm saying, why is that necessary when we're running in the streets and hiding from gunshots? And this is what is going to be discussed at this time.
Wow.
It's hosted by the National Emblem, Symbols, and Celebrations Advisory Committee. Now, what I have been told, sir, and what I'm gonna do when you're not speaking, I'm gonna turn off your mic because I'm still getting a sound coming in. What I'm being told is that these designs are already done. I haven't seen them. I don't know. So I know the government, they listen to this. Are the designs already done? And this is one of those things that you're doing again, where you've already made up your mind on what it is that you want to do. And then you're going to then come to us and say, let's have a town hall meeting about it. What we're being told is that they want to change the second verse in the national anthem. The Lord has been the people's guide. We're being told that they want to change put other colors in the flag. Is that so, government? Let me hear your thoughts, Mr. Scantlebury, Reverend Scantlebury.
Well, again, thank you for having me on the show, and of course, you know, I love history, and I do my best to stay abreast of everything that's happening. And let me just say a few things here before we go any further. The flag, the Barbados flag, itself, our current Barbados flag that we have, that was created back in 1966. That's supposed to be depicting the the blue representing the sky, representing the sea, the Caribbean Ocean. The yellow supposed to be depicting the sun, and then the broken trident that is supposed to be depicting the breaking away from Barbados from England.
Yes.
Okay. Actually, the person who designed the flag, Grantley Prescott, was training in Bristol, England. And in the center of Bristol, England, there is a 30-foot statue of Poseidon, or Neptune, the sea god. I think Dave may be able to find a picture of that in Bristol, England. And he has a full trident that is angled, from what I understood, at 33 degrees. So when Mr. Prescott won the competition, he depicted the broken trident of the sea god Neptune being broken. Okay, and at that time, Barbados was having maritime relations with England through Bristol, which led to Spikestown becoming later being called Little Bristol, because apparently that's where the schooners would come from Bristol, England, to Spikestown, and Spikestown ended up becoming called Little Bristol. Okay, so he had an advantage over the other individuals who would have put forward their design for the flag. So the flag that we have right now depicts not a breaking away from England, okay, but a breaking of Neptune's, there it is, a breaking of Neptune's staff, or his trident, okay? So one of the things that's important is that our flag must go, because it links Barbados and Barbadians to mythical sea god. In my studies also, Barbados, along with the Ukraine has the same colors as Barbados in their flag, along with the trident. And the Ukraine's Independence Day is actually December the 1st, while Barbados's Independence Day is November the 30th. Okay, so what you begin to see is that these nations are placed under specific gods, specific Greek gods and Roman gods. So with Barbados having a flag with a broken trident on it, is symbolizing that a certain kind of demonic power, and the trident is black. Okay, so it says that Barbados, since 1966, has broken away from this mythical sea god called Neptune or Poseidon. Now that also means that Barbados is under the planet Neptune. There's a planet in our solar system, a blue planet, which is the planet Neptune.
But the question is, so can I say this, because I've heard I've heard others say, and I'm glad you said about the breaking away.
Yes.
From right. So I'm going to turn your mic off because when I'm speaking and the mic is on. The question though is symbolically, if it is broken, my belief is that if it is broken, it's broken. If it was the actual trident, then I would have a problem with it. But the trident is broken, and which says, as you rightly said, it's a breaking away from whatever that symbolic thing is all about. So I think that's something to note there. My belief, is that it's broken, and if it's broken, it's broken.
Here's the reality of this. You really cannot break the trident of the sea god Neptune. You can't do that. This was only done because of the creative aspect of we suppressed it. But you cannot break the trident. The trident of Neptune has never been broken. Okay, so this is one of the things that a lot of individuals fail to understand when you study Roman and gods. You will realize that this is something that can never be broken. The trident that is on our flag, which symbolizes a breaking away from the British monarchy, the trident of Neptune is not a symbol of the British monarchy. So you cannot say that a broken trident on a flag symbolizes that you have broken away from the British monarchy.
I just find this is where, I mean, I see it a bit different, Apostle. I really do. I think,
but I'll explain my point to you. I'll explain my point to you. Okay. And the reason for this is because we understand how a kingdom works. I understand how a kingdom works. Now, for instance, the nation of Barbados is willed to Prince Charles. So if Barbados had broken away from the British monarchy, then we would not have to have Prince Charles come here when they had the ceremony going into the Republic. Because if we broke away in 1966, then we should not have to break away again, which means that whatever system was set up in 1966 was a lie, or it was not completed, that Barbadians
it wasn't completed because we weren't a republic. So that is what the republic is supposed to do. The republic. So we were still part of the Commonwealth, and we didn't break away. So
well, here's the reality: is that the Commonwealth is also other nations that are not a part of the British Empire. Okay, so what I'm saying to you is that when you say that I am independent of Britain, that I have gained my independence from Britain, then I cannot still be governed by Britain if I am independent from Britain. And so over the years that we've had all of these independent celebrations, and I've heard for myself, I remember years ago, I was in a pharmacy and they had their television on, and there was an interview with David Comishon, and I only went in there just to get one particular item, but he was talking about the errors that Errol Bauer made when he was drafting the agreement for independence. And he was talking about several of the things that Errol Bauer and Cameron Tudor and all those other individuals who were very heavily involved in constructing the independence from Britain. He mentioned a lot of the errors that were made and a lot of things that should have been done that were not done. So what I'm explaining is that you cannot use an object of a sea god or the god of the waters and say this is a symbol that we have broken away from England. You would have to use some other emblem that would clearly suggest to the nation that this is a breaking away. Okay.
I mean, this is I honestly, because we worked with, and this is, I don't want us to belabor at this point because I want us to be able to move to the other symbols, for example, the national anthem. Right. So what my belief is as I said, is a bit different. I understand symbols and symbolism. And I myself have done, when I just came to the island, did some spiritual mapping, and we can talk off air about that. But somehow your mic, I have to turn off the mic while I'm speaking. I'm not and that's okay. That's a good thing that we can differ, right? We can have a different viewpoint on it. I believe that the symbolism, the symbol is broken. It is our flag. And I believe David, can you show the lowering of the flag? I don't know if can you do that? Just show us that video in Ghana, what occurred in Ghana. I think is very, very important, because the flag is not even supposed to touch the ground, and that is not a spiritual thing. That is it's just to honor your country.
Right.
I'm trying with the mic again.
Yeah.
To
Yeah,
honor
well,
your country. That
yeah.
is not even to touch the ground. So we'll just
Yes.
look at that, and then we will move to the anthem. We're going to take a quick look at the anthem, because what I think this is all a distraction, I believe, and wanting to make the country into what she wants it to be, to leave her legacy.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you this. Okay, and as you said, if the trident is broken, and indeed on the flag it is, then what we're looking at in Ghana is something that is completely different to what meets the average eye. And I've had individuals, and both here in Barbados and also from abroad, that explain exactly what took place when the flag went to Ghana and what happened. Okay, and plain and simple, what I was told by individuals who are members of the and let me of a certain spiritual organization from St. Vincent, and also here in Barbados, they explain what took place in Ghana and what it actually meant. That it literally meant that at this point, Barbados and Barbadians are now subject to demonic rule. Okay? And the reality of this is that it now literally means that individuals in Barbados who do not understand spiritual things, that the island is now under a certain level of rule that will keep a certain individual in a leadership position. Okay, so everything is going to be done to keep a certain person as the leader of Barbados. And I was told that by individuals who are very, very high in certain spiritual dimensions, and they explain verbatim from the 12 pieces of wood that was used, the fact that the coat of arms is on the box, also the inscription of "We sons and daughters all," which is the same inscription that is on the what they call the freedom sign in Independence Square, where you have elements of the family. And if you look at them carefully, if you take a picture of it, you will see that the individuals are actually bowing. Okay, so you ask them, what is it that we're bowing to? And then also on the inscription in Bridgetown, it has "We sons and daughters all." We loyal sons and daughters all. Okay, so you have to ask yourself, what are we sons, loyal sons and daughters all? What is it that we are loyal to? And what happened in Ghana shows us that right now Barbados or Barbadians are loyal to that level of the demonic. I am not loyal to that. I will never be loyal to that. And this is why, I am the way I am where things are concerned, because there are a lot of individuals who do not really understand what is going on. But ladies and gentlemen, it's critical to see here. You have 12 pieces of wood, 12 pieces of wood that are indigenous to Barbados. Okay, and from my study, they have the element of the circle is completed, and I've looked at so many things, and I'm showing you some pictures of murals around the island that clearly states this statement is being made over and over: "We loyal sons and daughters all," which means that the people who were behind the construction of that little coffin, the people who were behind the draping of the flag, the people who were behind that were people from Barbados who planned that. Okay. And this is one of the things that we need individuals to understand, that there's something in Barbados that needs to be broken, and it is not the trident. Okay. Because if the trident is already broken and we are free, then there's something else now that we have been put in bondage to. And that's what we have to focus on, making sure that we get that broken. And we need a government in Barbados. We need a government in Barbados right now that have someone bold enough to go to Ghana, have a change of government, someone that's bold enough to fly to Ghana and let them know we're here to get our flag, get that nonsense out of that little hole that they have there. We need to get our flag. This is disrespectful. We have a Ministry of Foreign Affairs that should have said something about this when it took place. We had ministers of government, we have lawyers, we have judges, we have very high people in Barbados that should have responded, because we should not ever allow our flag to touch the ground. We should never have our flag disrespected and degraded in such a manner. And it was done, and literally nobody said anything about it, but it was done for a particular reason. And this is why it is so important for us to realize why so many things are happening in Barbados at this point in time. And it seems like there's no power, there's no level, but we are going to keep moving until we have a complete breakage of this. And one of the things that the Lord shared with me recently about this dome, this dome of witchcraft that was over Barbados, he told me that dome has been broken. Okay,
Yes,
it's been completely broken. So something is going to happen right now to begin the process of waking Barbadians up to what is going on. And that situation there in Ghana in 2018, that is a very clear sign of very heavy demonic activity, very heavy satanic activity. Okay, so we've got to wake up right now and realize that something needs to be destroyed from over our nation with all these things that's happening. There is a root to what is happening, Madam Weeks, and our people must come to a realization that this is not the Barbados that we planned for. This is not the Barbados that our forefathers labored and died for. This is not it. Okay, and we have to recognize and realize that there's so much level of witchcraft, wizardry, satanic activity, demonic activity that's going on in our nation right now. And the root of it is that something has been done to keep the people quiet, to shut the people up, to make sure that those who are in rulership remain in rulership. And we've got to get to the place where democracy in Barbados must be protected. We must not end up like other nations that have leaders that are there for 30 and 40 years. Like Africa, there are leaders there that are 80 this and 90 this, that they're just there to maintain the status quo. They're just there to make sure that the other alternative and destiny for their nations is carried out, and not the one that God wants. And we have to get to the place where we want the destiny that God has for Barbados, and not one that is being forged by any satanic or demonic force.
Yeah. And someone is saying here, sent this to me, that Mayor Motley wants to erase all that came with independence. I call it a dangerous distraction. She wants to remake Barbados in her own image. She did say, vote for me and watch me. Watch me use a wrecking ball and destroy all that we know and associate with independence and Errol Barrow. And if I may say something here, guys, that one of the things that happened, which is very mysterious to this day, is the removal of Errol Barrow's his suit, his boots, everything that he wore for independence, guys. Isn't that strange? I've been to that museum, and those things were kept in a glass case. We went there, and it was at the Parliamentary Museum. It wasn't just in a room anywhere. These things were held in a glass case. And I want us to think, I know we've been talking about them, but now that they're talking about emblems, we've got to put it all together. They said Ninja Man stole those things. And to this day, they cannot find the things among Ninja Man's, among the stuff that he has. If he took those out, don't you think he would be wearing them? We would see him walking up the street in Aaron Barron's boots, or wearing his jacket. Where are the things? The question is, Mr. Apostle Scantlebury, did they put them, send them to Ghana?
Wow. But that's a very good question. A very good question.
Okay, you're no low. You're no low.
Okay. Just make sure.
Yes, we're hearing now.
Let me just say this. I want to ask Dave if he could pull up a picture of the plans for the family monument. If he can pull up a quick picture of it, because on the plans, when they were presented to the public, the picture facing Broad Street was Arrow Barrow. Okay. And when it was completed, if you go up Broad Street, the picture that is facing down Broad Street is Rihanna. Okay, so they lied to the public about who would have been facing down Broad Street. They made it appear as though Arrow Barrow, and you're rightfully on point with what you're saying about the removal of Arrow Barrow. And this is something that the Democratic Labour Party needs to get on very urgently. Okay, but if you look at the plans, a picture when they released it, and it's on YouTube, you can get a picture of it on YouTube, versus the current one that is actually there. When they released the plans for it, the picture that was facing down Broad Street was Arrow Barrow on the plan. Okay, now when they finished the monument, the picture that is facing down Broad Street is Rihanna. Okay, so on one level, you make the people believe, oh, we're celebrating Arrow Barrow, we're remembering Arrow Barrow, as our father of independence. And then once you begin construction, you switch the whole thing. And this is, trickery and deceit that has been laid on the people of Barbados. And unfortunately, there are not too many individuals that are able to see through the plan of the enemy. Now, I've looked at that monument, and I've seen some very, very disturbing elements about it. I know exactly what it is. And unfortunately, you just can't say these things to people because they think that you're crazy. But to show the public, first off, Arrow Barrow, his image is going to be the one that you see once you come up Broad Street. Then you create it and you put Rihanna.
You flip it. Yeah, you flip it.
You see? So,
yes, go ahead, sir.
Right. So now you realize that there are a lot of things that's going on in the minds of the people who are creating these things. And in their minds, it's bait and switch. And as you said, there's this system of operation to erase the history of Arrow Barrow and also the history of the Democratic Labour Party. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons why you have now anything about the Democratic Labour Party is heavy in the news.
That's right.
Anything that's going on with the BLP is cut from the news. And our people must begin to realize this is very dangerous. This type of media manipulation is a very, very dangerous thing. And I hope Dave can, find some of those pictures that we can actually put them there so that, the public can see for themselves that they switched the whole thing. They switched the whole thing on the Bajan public. So when you go up Broad Street, you see Rihanna, and that's how they operate. They operate on a subconscious level. So you will see Rihanna. You'll get that in your mind. You'll get that in your heart. You'll get her in your mind. You get that in your heart. And then
erase Arrow Barrow. So
exactly.
So we are talking here, guys, and I had to go back to that. We had to go back to Ghana in 2018. We had to take you back to the Aaron Barrows, his clothes that were taken, his garment that was taken, right? His wardrobe, the symbol of who he is in the museum was removed from the museum.
Right.
And I
Right.
want people to understand that, to see that and understand it. And now we are at this juncture. Then before we even come to this juncture, I want us to realize something, that we were at our houses. One evening we saw in the newspaper that in November, it was a November, that the Independence Day itself was going to be changed. It was just announced. Wilfred Abrams came and they announced it, that Independence Day was going to be changed. There was a big uproar led by the Democratic Labour Party, and most Barbadians they thought that was distasteful. You have told us to celebrate Independence Day on November 30, but then you came and you said, all of a sudden, you said it's going to change. And with the uproar, the Prime Minister said they pulled back. And what did she say? Who remember what she said? Let me see who is going to write in the comment section. What did the Prime Minister say after she pulled back and we celebrated Independence Day? Can anybody write in the chat? What did the Prime Minister say after that? Who can write? I want to see if anybody remember. Don't say anything, Apostle. I want to see, because Barbadians, we've got to keep our thinking caps on. We've got to keep thinking. We've got to use our brains. Anybody can? Thank you, Angel Humble. Come to the front of the class. She said that it's on pause now. They will revisit this in the future. Well, the future is here. The future is here. You understand? The future is here. It is now. They said in the Barbados Today article that they're going to look at the emblems and they're going to look at our celebrations. I am submitting to you that they're going to come before us again. The people already, Apostle Scantlebury, the people have already said we don't want it to change. Choose another day for Republic Day, but not this government, not this leader. Ignores the people, ignores all of Barbados, and decides we're going to now continue the discussion, because she told us she did not value what we had to say. She said, guess what? We're going to revisit this at another time. It's not what you think is what is going to be done. Did you remember that, Apostle Scantlebury, as we move along?
Yes. I really thank Dave for putting that up there. And you can see where our Bauer is, okay, versus where Rihanna is. Okay. And the actual, if you go online, you go Google Images, you pull that up, you see where our Bauer is. Look at where our Bauer is in the whole lineup of the national heroes, and look at where Rihanna is. So if you're coming up Broad Street, which is the direction that most that the traffic moves in, she is going to be the first person that you see
as you're coming up.
As you're coming up. And the traffic
very good
goes,
observation,
right.
Reverend. Very good observation.
So any Bajan, any Barbadian can go and look at where Barbaro is versus where Rihanna is. Okay? And you have to ask yourself, why was the father of independence, why was he replaced? Okay? And National Hero Square, you'll see, if you look at the emblems, you look at what would be the statues of families, you will see that they're actually bowing. And that's where they have the statement, we loyal sons and daughters all. So exactly what are they bowing to? What is it that the people of Barbados are loyal to? Okay, so there you have the chains. Okay,
Yeah,
Then
but
you have
somebody's
all
saying something here, and this is a thing, and this is what this government stands for: not heritage, not principle.
right.
ECD is saying, and I would love to hear the others on this, that they switch it around to let the people see Rihanna first, probably because Rihanna is a star and a billionaire.
Well, yeah, well, being a star and a billionaire does not build our nation. It didn't bring our nation from where it was to where it is today. We're dealing with the people who did what was necessary so Rihanna she could become what she's become. Okay? If they didn't do what they did, if Alvaro and the others didn't do what they did, she could not be in the Barbados today. So this is why it's important for us, as John King said years ago, we need to know who our heroes are. Okay? We need to know who our heroes are, not people who gained from being a Barbadian, but people who were down in the trenches and worked and did what was necessary to build this nation into what it is today. Okay, so if your husband, sorry, I need to stop doing that. If he can go online and Google a copy of the what's on Google Images about the plans, a picture of the plans that they had for this this heroes independence area monument. If he Googles the plans, you will see that in the plan, Aaron Barrow's face was where Rihanna is now. Okay, so why the change, and why is it they never said we were going to make a change? They just did it because they knew in their minds all along what they've been doing. I've been checking the murals around the island. I know exactly what they're doing. I understand the consciousness change that they're trying to do, because this is how these demonic folk work. They work on a subconscious level. You see something long enough, you hear something long enough, you say something long enough, you get exposed to something long enough, it gets down into your subconscious. And once it gets down into your subconscious, it's easy for them to work because they work beyond the consciousness level. And I hope that your husband can find that image, and individuals can easily go online, Google Images, and just type in, the Independence Square Monument, and you will see that in the original plans, the face that was that you would see once you were coming up Broad Street, the face you would see is Aaron Bauer. You have to ask the question, why was Aaron Bauer's element, why was his picture, why was there a change and the public was never informed about the change? And these are things that are happening, and because of that whole Ghana situation, this is why they can move things over the people. They'll come at the people. You had the whole cyber crimes bill, you had all of these issues, and you'll see that they won't deal with the issues. They won't deal with crime and violence. They're talking tent, they're talking emblem change. They're doing things to destabilize the minds of the people, because that's how these people work. They have to work in chaos. They cannot work in a system that is quiet and clean and clear and constructive. They have to work in a system that is very, very chaotic. That's how the demonic system works.
Yes.
And you'll see that, and I hope that your husband will find that.
I'm sure he's checking for it. But I want us guys. I'm hoping that we are following closely what is being said here tonight. We might have a little difference with the trident and so on. Put that aside for a minute, and we will all go and research it. Rev and I will have our conversation, right? But what I'm saying here, I want everybody that's on tonight to realize something, Apostle, that there's a systematic move to erase the legacy of Errol Barrow, of independence, and of the DLP. When this is done, and this is one of the reasons, Reverend, why they will accuse me of being part of the DLP, because I can see this clearly, what is happening. And this prime minister and our government, they are bent on doing this. There's nobody who said they had a problem with these emblems. What the biggest concern is gunshots in this country right now, is the stabbings and the raping of people, the beating of the elderly. And you're going to take up time and money to come to talk to us about changing our emblems. Let's look at the national anthem, Reverend. I was at a they had a meeting when they were talking about the new constitution. And there were people there that were presenting their views that the second verse of the anthem needs to change, because we must be a secular society. And they want any reference to God removed from the anthem. I know some people said it's not God that they reference to. Others of us have taken that, and when we sing it, we don't think of anything else. We think of Almighty God. Okay? Now, look at the verse that, if it is true, and those of you in government, because when we talk on this show, I know you go and you put out stuff in the media afterwards, whatever. Is it true? I'm asking a question. Because in the article in Barbados Today, it spoke about discussing the national anthem. Folks, and I tend to agree with Apostle Scantlebury that when you're dealing with the demonic, they bring confusion. That's the other element I want you to see tonight, folks. The confusion that this demonic government, yes, I said so. Go back and tell them I said so. It's obvious that it's demonic, because all that is happening in the country is confusion. And I'm going to miss, I know Mr. Apostle Scantlebury is going to jump in on this, right? You are trying, we are running in the streets, some gunshots, and this demonic government comes now to bring violence, emotional violence on the people of Barbados. Violence to take our heritage from us. It's violence. They are enacting violence on the people of Barbados to come to talk to us about the flag, right? Talk to us about the anthem celebrations. They didn't say independence, but what else they're talking about? Guy Fawkes Day? That is no more. It has to be independence you're coming with. When we already told them, Apostle, we told them that we do not want it the day changed. But, and this is why, and this is where you're going to come in, because I'm going to tell you this. This thing gets me very, very, very passionate, because it's a disrespect for the people. And that is why I call her Miss Piggy. It has nothing to do with her facial features and her body structure. But Mayor Martin is a beautiful woman.
Right.
She's a beautiful Black woman. I'm not calling her a pig. I'm calling her, I'm dealing with the character of Miss Piggy, one that is bossy, one that is controlling, one that is what is the word I'm looking for? I can't, despotic. That is what I am speaking of when I say Miss Piggy. Miss Piggy is a cartoon character. And when the people, your people that you serve, they're telling you, ma'am, we don't want to change our Independence Day. We don't want to change our emblems, but yet still you have in a town hall meeting, and Birdie is telling us that all of those symbols and everything is already designed, is what we're being told. And we're asking, is that what you really did? Over to you, Apostle.
Yeah, well, you know, this one of the things we have to clear, there's a difference between a muppet and a puppet. Okay. And Miss Piggy is a muppet, not a puppet.
Correct.
Okay.
Correction.
All right. Yeah. So let me just go back and add to what you're saying. about how these individuals were. Now, I have a mural in Spikestown just by the terminal, outside of the terminal, where there's an elderly woman. There's an elderly woman on it working in a garden. There's a fishing boat on it, and then there's a mother and a father walking towards their, an area on the rail of that. And anyone that's in Spikestown can go and look at it for themselves. On the rail, the words "We loyal sons and daughters all" are inscribed on the top of the rail. Now you have to ask yourself, why is that the case with that mural? Why is it what is recorded in Hero Square? Why is it in our current national anthem? Why are they using this particular aspect, "We loyal sons and daughters all," over and over again? Again, what is it that we are loyal to? What is it that Barbadians are loyal to? That is what they have to clear up for us. I know what it is, and I know that I'm not a part of it. I will never be a part of it. But the reality is that we still have a nation of 283,000 persons that the majority are oblivious. Only those who have keen insight can understand exactly what is happening. And this is why it is critical for us to have information and intelligence of what is going on. Now, let me go to what you were saying about the elements that's happening in our country, prevailing in Barbados right now. So often, as I said before in the last time I was on the show, so much level of unrighteousness. You had a case where when they were the opposition, they had so much to say about what they would do to help stem crime, the flow of drugs, the flow of guns into Barbados. Now it's your turn. Okay? When it was 19 murders under Adriel Brathwaite, he doesn't know what he's doing. He needs to resign. Now we're up to 25 in half of a year, and the Attorney General is still the person that's there. You knew a person needed to resign in a whole year with 19 homicides. You're at 25 in half of a year, and you're still the Attorney General. Now let's go back and clear this up, which is a level of unrighteousness that is coming on the people. Now the people are the ones that vote the government in. Mm-hmm. And we have a situation where when individuals are voted in by the people, they get protected by the Constitution. And the Constitution starts to manipulate. Okay? The Constitution starts to manipulate and gives them the power, rather, to manipulate how they operate with the people. Okay? So in many cases, the Constitution protects those who are elected by the people. And because that is the case, many times the cries of the people go unheard, even when they make statements. These folk become so protected by the Constitution that they say we are carrying out the Constitution. We're carrying out the Constitution. And this is in my entire study, and I want someone that can actually pull up the statement that is made by the Prime Minister when the Prime Minister is sworn in. Okay, if your husband can find that when the Prime Minister is sworn in, you will see that in the sworn in statement of the Prime Minister, there is absolutely no agreement with her and the people. Okay, all the others deal with "I'll faithfully serve the Constitution of Barbados," but in that there is no statement. Okay, and when you say "so help me God," that means that you have verbally entered into a contract with God to assist you in the execution of your duties. You go in there and you do not enlist the help of the divine in the execution of your duties, then you have failed. you have broken that agreement. And unfortunately, a lot of individuals do not understand how serious this is. Every person that is elected and represents the people of Barbados, in that swearing-in statement, there should be a clause where you are accountable to the people of Barbados. That is not in the swearing-in statements of our leaders. This is very critical. You know, Madam Weeks, I've studied this stuff out, you know, over and over to make sure that what I'm presenting here on your show is credible information that can be proven. And anyone can go and pull up right now the statement that is made by the Prime Minister on the swearing-in of the oath of office, and read it for yourself and come back and tell me if you really see an agreement between the leader and the people. And ladies and gentlemen, you cannot have a situation where people go out there and vote for you, and then you do not have an agreement to help them make their lives better. Something is wrong with that. Something is wrong with that.
Well,
so
Dave, it's long, so we can't play it. It says 17 minutes and something, unless you have the exact, because we don't have a lot of time.
Yeah, I think in the old constitution, there's a swearing-in statement of the Prime Minister in the old constitution, because we don't have a new one as yet. And you know, you can just pull that clause up because
and I'm sure if somebody has it, if I'll say this, if you're listening and you can find that in the old version of the Constitution and can send it to me, just you can even take a picture and just send it to me. We would appreciate that. But that's what we say on emblems right now, and I'm saying to every Barbadian listening, fight it. Fight it.
Yes.
Fight it with everything that you have inside of you. Because this is part of the as Apostle is saying, we show you the progression tonight.
Yes,
ma'am. We show you the progression. And it's a complete bowing down that they're planning to have. Okay. Now we're working, Dave, overnight, because I want to share something with the people tonight. And with you, Apostle, that I saw this evening. I don't know if a lot of people know that they're getting ready right now to change the president. I'm sure you're aware of that. I'm sure you're aware of that. And I'm trying to find, that was sent to me this evening. And I'm trying to find it because I want to read that section for you. Oh, okay, got it. So basically, the president has 4 years. Okay, it's renewed every 4 years. We were a republic in what year? You remember the year?
2022.
2022. So that is coming up. 4 years, that's coming up. And this is what I saw this morning. And I don't know if Dave is able, we're working Dave overtime. If Dave can show a picture for me, Dave, that I sent to you with both Liz Thompson and the Prime Minister together. This is what they're after, what I believe. This is my belief. I don't have, I can only show you what I saw. And this is just, I'm presenting this to you as my opinion. Okay? This is my opinion. These two ladies. I don't come on this show a lot and tell you that anything about, I tried, Reverend, you're Reverend, so you can do it. I don't come on here and say God said something to me or that. I try my best not to get into that. But this picture, I will tell you, came to me in my prayers this morning. These two women. And even in the natural, you could see. And we're hearing it because, they talk. Even within themselves, from them, they talk. That it appears as though they are getting ready to make Elizabeth Thompson the president. After this lady, this Dame Mason, Sandra Mason, after she leaves, which is going to be very soon, it appears that this is a lady that they want to put as president. And I am warning Barbados something. And remember, put it down tonight here. June 20th, 9:09, 9:01 p.m., 9:01, 9:02. I'm saying to Barbados as a warning. This is a warning that if these two women are at the helm of this country, Barbados, you will never be able to even recognize it after they're through with it. I am issuing a warning. Take it for whatever you want to, but I am considering myself as being obedient in saying this to you. If these two women, remember this one on the left, anytime they want to send out what is a proverbial I'm using now, because then you all love to take what I'm saying. I'm using metaphors and you run and say, I call people this. I'm using this metaphorically and proverbially. It's when you want an attack dog. The main attack dog for the BLP is this lady in red. This other piece is, I'm not using it proverbially, is what comes out of her. What comes out of her is what defiles her. I consider her what she said is what she says is vile. What comes out of this woman on the left is vile. It's corrupt. It's awful. It makes your stomach turn. And they are going to dress her up and give her to us as a president. They are going to dress up this woman who, when she speaks vileness, if that's the word, Reverend, that comes out of her is corruption and vile. Evil. I said those things, and those I will stand by because I am giving my opinion. I hear her and it makes me want to puke. She gives the worst insults to people. And this is a person you want to dress up and give us after we had Dame Sandra Mason. This is who you want to give us. Is this true? Government, is this what you're trying to do? And I want to give Barbados a warning. If these two women are going to be the ones, they could start nowadays. They start to dress her up, give her that wig, that Medea kind of looking wig and so on, and trying to keep her all whatever. It all don't matter what you dress her in. We will not forget her vileness. We will not forget how vile this lady, what comes out of her is vile and corrupt. And there's no way you can dress her up. You could put her in the best lipstick and the best wigs and she start to speak soft and all of that. It's not going to change it. And you put her as a president and you're going to see what you're going to get in this country. Those two, they are sisters. And this, you will not be able to recognize this country after those two are done with it. That's what I want to say. Over to you, Apostle.
Well, listen, that's pretty interesting what what you receive. But one of the things that I said in 2018 once the Barbados Labour Party had won the first set of, the 30 seats. And my congregation can attest to this. My wife can also attest to this. I told them one of the things that you're going to see in Barbados is a very strong feminist movement. Okay, a very, very strong feminist movement in Barbados. And right now, almost all of the top positions in Barbados are held by a female. Okay, it's something like what's going on in Trinidad right now. You got the president, you got the chief justice, you got the prime minister, all women, all women. In Barbados, at the top, you have pretty much all women. Okay, and that is a very dangerous movement that can literally mask the operation that is going on behind the scenes with individuals and what's going on in that feminist movement. And one of the things that you will see is that you will see that it is not the great percentage are females that are not married or have themselves raised their own children. So there's a huge disconnect with them and society. Okay, and I told my congregation, this is one of the things that you're going to see very, very clearly, a very strong feminist movement where you'll see that there's really no use for men other than, okay, I got you, you happen to have this position, but just remember who's in charge. Just remember who the boss is. And what you're seeing there is very dangerous because we've had a president, we currently have a president that's a female. Why is it that we're not looking for a male to be president? Okay, why is that the case? You go into the upper chamber, a female. You got deputy speaker of the house, a female. You got, before Mr. Chad Blackman, head of education, a female. Chief education officer, a female. You look at the majority of schools right now around Barbados. Find out who's the principal or who the deputy principal is. So something is happening in Barbados that even the church has to begin to pay attention to it. Because we're asking about our young men. We're asking about crime. We're asking about all of these things that's happening. Even to the point right now, we're seeing mother and daughter being arrested for, drug trafficking and all these different things. So something is going on in our nation right now. There's a very dangerous but very strong feminist movement that is going on in Barbados that's literally undermining the family, is undermining the very fabric of the spiritual component of God making male and female. Personally, I don't have a problem with women doing well. I don't, seriously. But when I see in my nation that all of the top positions are going to women, I gotta stop and I gotta ask God, what's going on here? And when I see what's happening, I know what's going on. I've said this over and over. People say, Apostle Scantlebury, he doesn't like Mia Morley. I tell them, as a man of God, I can't hate Mia Morley. Okay? I can hear what she stands for. I can hear what she represents. But I don't hate Mia Morley. Okay? And what I have seen, give me something. Okay? Don't show me, we want children to go back to Sunday school and we never see you at church in 52 Sundays in a year. Do we have a picture anywhere of the Prime Minister raising her hands in worship? Do we have that picture anywhere? Okay, do we have one of them on stage with the top entertainers? Do we have them on stage bumping and grinding? Yeah, we do. So how do you come and, one voice, get our children back to Sunday school? Do we not lead by example here? Yeah. Okay, so where's the example? One Sunday of a year, 2 Sundays of a year. They just had a massive Pentecostal rally at the Oval. What's happening? Where were you? Okay, so this huge feminist movement is listen, it's going to undermine Barbados. It's going to cripple Barbados, and it's already started to do that. Now,
Yeah.
in my area of psychology, there is a place when females are different to men mentally because of the mental construction of how neurons move through the brain. Okay, this is information that you can study on Google. I did this years ago because I just don't study the Bible. I study whatever I can or whatever I need to study. And do you see that place where a female gets afraid? The response is different to a man. Okay, and you can tell when the neurons are functioning differently. And I've seen many times when our leader was genuinely afraid, that response forced her to get up and go to church. I've seen that happen. But I saw that happen for myself, right? And I've seen many times when I know the prime minister was genuinely scared, like she is right now. Okay, so many times this show of dominance, this show does not equate to when the camera goes off. When the camera goes off, the problem is still there in front of you. Words don't solve problems. Action does. And it's very, very critical for us to understand what is happening, what's interfering with our young men, what's going on education, what's going on in the workplace. A man comes in there and the boss is a female, and she's making that man feel inferior, feel incomplete, feel like he's a nobody. And all of these are different things that they're interfering with our society right now. And people are asking, where have we gone wrong? Where have we gone wrong? Okay. When I was at school, we had female teachers there, but female teachers that had children of their own, female teachers that were married and had families. So they dealt with children differently. You have teachers today, young male, young female teachers that are party goers. That's the mindset. So, I mean, we're interfering with the entire structure of our nation, and then we're sitting back and asking ourselves, where have we gone wrong? Kidding me. Kidding me. Something is wrong with the reality of how we sit and analyze things in Barbados today. And the answers are right in front of us, but right now we don't have the people that have the ability to enforce those answers that will help make everything better. Now, finally, I want to say this because we were talking about
because we have to go into some other things that I advertised, and I sent you about the death penalty and so on. So
yes, ma'am. Well, I wanted to just quickly talk about the emblems because you brought that up, and just to add to what I was saying, here's the deal: on the 25 cents, there's a flying fish. On the dollar, sorry, on the dollar, there's a flying fish. In the cenotaph, there's a fish. Okay. On the coat of arms, there's a fish. The emblem of the central bank is a fish. Okay. So if you're going to change the emblem, it tells you that right away you are already planning to interfere with the economic structure, because all of those suggest that Barbados is kept up by the fishing industry. Okay, so a lot of different things. You're going to play around with the emblems. There's something more deeper and more sinister going on here than what meets the eye. And I think this is time for the public to wake up.
The public needs to wake up, guys. The public needs to wake up. We've said a lot of things on the show, and I said the stuff with the I told you when it's my opinion and just my view and my thoughts, and I felt
yes, ma'am.
To warn. I've said that you can go and pray on it, research on it yourself, and other things you heard on here. Go and research. But let's move it back to crime. We went there because we wanted to show you, and I'm just going to turn off your mic again, Apostle, just because of the noise. And when we're ready, you will turn it. I just wanted to show you how the distraction, what they're doing to us at this moment, and the violence, that emotional violence that they're bringing to us and the violence against our heritage that is being meted out by the government of this country. But we have to deal with the what's happening in the streets, what's happening, Reverend, even in a church this week, broad daylight in the morning, somebody went in there to rob the cleaners of the church. Okay, this is where we live right now. Okay, we are in a crisis, right? And I want to say this tonight, we want to quickly touch on the death penalty. We want to know, is this the answer? We want to talk about the citizens fighting back. Okay, what about the gun court that Mr. Thorne is proposing for this country? We want to quickly look at that before we open the lines. It might go a little extra tonight, okay? Because people enjoy the show. But I want to share something I learned tonight, which I know you know this already, Apostle. But I was able to speak to people who were present at some of these things. Do you know that I'm finding a way to say this so they don't write me? Because I was setting a question, but I know the answers. Yeah? Thanks. Where is in 2018, especially the 2018 elections, there are political parties, or there is a political party that I was told today that took drug dealers, gave you money for your election campaign. Who is that party? You all listen. You all watching this. I know you're watching it. This is why I'm trying to say to Barbadians, be careful what we are asking people to do, because if I say this to you, Apostle, if you're running a campaign anywhere in the world and somebody gives you money, if a cigarette company comes and gives you money, they are lobbying you. But when you go into government, right, Apostle, there are certain obligations that you're going to have to that cigarette company. If a vaping company or whatever the company is, even if the church gives you money, the church is looking for, when you go in, right? And when they're coming against the church, we want to have a government that is going to stand up for the church. These are called lobbyists. My question is, why did a particular political party take money, loads of money in brown paper bag from drug dealers? And this is why when you have a government where people within the government, they have taken money from people involved in crime, gang leaders, how are they going to fight those same gangs? Make it make sense, Apostle. People are saying there are people in government that they were in drug dens with. We're hearing that. Okay, I can't say that part. Okay. We're hearing there are people in government in drug dens taking drugs with everybody else in there. Police comes and police have to go and leave them. How is that government going to fight drug dealers? Why is it that when a certain government got into power, the drug dealers said, turned to the others and said, our government is now in power about this particular government? when we see the opening of Parliament and a particular government would allow gang leaders to be in Parliament, you really expect that particular government to be fighting gangs in Barbados? I want us to stop and think, you know. Apostle, we want to talk about some of the solutions to Barbados' crime crisis, because this, we're not going to get the real solutions from government.
Right.
Over to you, sir.
Well, first of all, let me say this, because you had a situation where some gentlemen from that dimension of our society said they had an agreement with the government. I don't know why that was shoved under the carpet. They said we kept our word, and the government didn't keep theirs. They said we kept our word, and the government did not keep it, which means they themselves have found out that this government cannot be trusted. Okay, but what it should also show the public is that the lengths that they went to without the public's knowledge to try to curb crime in Barbados, and we heard up to some point of $8,000 per month. I mean, that is even more money than a police sergeant is making. Okay, but here's the thing that I want to say here, and I mentioned this about the St. James North by election, where, as I said, the Democratic Labour Party could not compete with that dimension. But then you had the winning candidate going to be sworn in, and there were some individuals that went along with him, and folk were saying, okay, well, that's not a problem. Then we find out that these individuals supported the campaign very heavily, and we're asking ourselves a very serious question: why is it that you have to have heavy support from these individuals? I thought the election was about you showing individuals the ability that you have, you showing individuals the solutions you're going to be bringing to curb whatever is happening in St. James North. I thought that's what it was about. If that was, if I was in that position and I went to Government House to be sworn in, and individuals, not saying that they haven't straightened their lives up or anything of that nature, but my dad, who is 87 years old right now, if I did that as a winning candidate, brought along individuals, I'm telling you, at 87, my dad would still whoop me, because my dad would pull me aside and say, young man, why are these people here? Where's the pastor that blessed your constituency office? Why weren't they invited? Where's the man of God or the woman of God that blessed your constituency office? Why are they not here? Okay, my father would pull me aside and verbally and then physically at 87 try to whoop me and get me straightened up. And he will tell me, I cannot support you as a candidate if these are the people you are linking with. Now, again, let me make it clear. I'm not saying that they have a problem. I'm just saying, from my perspective, what I know would happen, because my father would expect that I would be above the board as a candidate, that I would not be allowing my campaign to be controlled by individuals that are, of a different persuasion. So when you see that happening, you have to ask yourself a question: why is this the case in Barbados, where it seems like whenever there is some level of victory and some level of support or some level of celebration, why is it always that this is the type of element that we see here? Now, I want to go to some solutions. Number one.
Let's talk first about the death penalty. We don't take it in order.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the death penalty first of all. Now, the reality of when we're talking capital punishment, we have to make sure two things, that we have very strong divine law, and then also very strong laws of the land. Okay, we do not have very strong laws of the land because our nation has moved away from the laws of the divine, from the laws of God. Okay, now the other thing that has happened is that Barbados has become a nation that is overrun with drugs, overrun with guns, overrun with gangs, overrun with corruption. Okay, now the other element to this, and I want to make sure that I'm very, very clear on what I'm saying. Legislation should by now have been brought to the table by the Barbados Labour Party. Legislation, anti-gang legislation and anti-gun legislation, and then also very strong anti-drug legislation. There are way too many people who get off in Barbados with drug offenses. Okay, and you see in Barbados, I said this before on the show, the people at the top don't ever get prosecuted. Okay, it's the little guy that's prosecuted in Barbados. So let's deal with this area of the death penalty. We have to now understand there's a difference between crime and serious crime. We have to understand there's a difference between murder and premeditated murder. And so we have to structure what the punishments will be based on the type of situation at hand. What we're seeing in Barbados right now in terms of the gun violence is premeditated. Somebody gets in a vehicle, drives into an area, they're going for a particular person, it's already premeditated. That is something that we have to put in place. And the government is responsible for the types of legislation and the types of laws that are put in place to deal with these very serious and very, very violent crimes.
So what are you saying about you're saying that there are some crimes that are premeditated. You are recommending the death penalty, and as you think about your answer, I want the people in the comment section, because let's think about what's happening in Barbados now. The question is, if the death penalty is introduced, let's have a conversation about it. I heard Mr. Thorne saying let's bring it to the people. Is this something that we need to look at this point?
Yeah, it's definitely something that has to be looked at, because the scant respect for life in Barbados right now. I mean, what is happening is outrageous. I mean, life right now for a certain section of our society is, the respect for life is at zero right now. Okay, and all of this is being funneled from a source that goes all the way up to the fact that you can't really say anything about this government without a bad response from people. And we don't understand that in our nation, there's freedom of speech. And when people are angry at you because you said something that they, rubbed them in a certain way, but they're ready to get rid of you, you have to begin to realize that we're living in very, very serious times. But when you have a situation, Madam Weeks, where you're seeing the type of violent activity that is going on, there must be a place to really seriously judge these situations and then move to, having a very strong element where we administer justice, okay? Because you have a situation right now where our people aren't safe.
Right.
Our elderly, they're not safe. I mean, come on, you had an elderly lady that was raped 3 times. Are you kidding me? So what is to be done, and what can be done right now to send a message that we're not going to have this level of activity. Now, when I was a boy at secondary school, the then commissioner of police made a statement, and I remember it. He made a statement saying, "There's no such thing as gangs in Barbados." And I said, how could he say that when I had some guys in my year that told me they were in gangs? So I'm like, how's the police commissioner saying there's no such thing as gangs in Barbados, and yet I'm going to school with guys who are in gangs, or telling me they're in gangs? So you can see that there is a spill off of this stuff, and I'm telling you, Madam Weeks, because I had individuals from within the Barbados Police Service that I know and that know me well.
Yeah.
Individuals from the military that traversed Barbados during COVID that told me, Mr. Scantlebury, you have no idea the amount of drugs and guns that came into Barbados while the people were locked up during COVID. You have no idea. Okay,
Yeah.
so you, yes,
only
ma'am.
because of time, we're gonna, because I want to get to the people to start calling in. So your general feel, and I'm looking at the comment. Some people are saying yes to the death penalty for certain crimes. That when we have proper legislation that determine the degree of
Exactly.
the crime, then
Yes.
we can have. And I think that's what I heard Mr. Thorne in the he was saying we need to have legislation that determines the
Yes.
degree of crime committed. But at this point, as you said, there's no regard. I'm just going to turn off your mic a little bit. There's no regard for life, and there are no real consequences in their minds. They go to jail, they're coming out. There's no, so it's something to, I mean, you know what, we just need to discuss it, because I think we must remember that when these guys go to kill, they're going to kill, right? They're going to kill. They are targeting who they want. It's premeditated, and they're going to kill, right? And so keep that in mind while we're trying to be soft on them. Keep that in mind, okay? I believe that yes, you're going to need proper legislation. You need to determine what the types of crime, etc. But let's quickly look at the gun court. Now, one of the things that Jamaica is claiming that worked for them is a gun court, and they have a Gun Court Act of 1974, which features no jury trials. Right? So if you're caught with a gun, there's no jury trials for you. The cases are heard by judges. So everybody listen. And because we don't have one in Barbados, from my understanding. No jury. The cases are heard by judges if you're caught with a gun. Do you think that will help to deter some of this people getting involved in gun crimes? Number two, they fast track the trials. So there's not anything you're going to be on bail for this whole long time, right? They plan, according to the plan, the legislation, that it needs to be finished within 7 days, right? Within 7 days. Think about it. Because they say we don't talk solution, but these are serious solutions. Serious solutions here. Mandatory minimum sentences for illegal firearm and ammunition offenses. So there's a mandatory sentence. You get caught with a gun. I can't remember if it was 7 years. You're getting 7 years. Whatever the number of years is in Jamaica. As a child, you would hear it. You get caught with a gun, that is what is going to happen. According to Jamaica, they are now saying that they are seeing a decrease in murders and in gun-related crimes. With those three areas that I've outlined, if you would stop long enough from typing to listen, I want to hear your thoughts. And as you call in tonight, I want to hear your thoughts on that. Just a quick comment, Apostle, just real quick, and then we have to move to the next thought before they call it.
Okay, quickly, let me say this, that Barbados has a slightly different demographic to Jamaica. I think, again, and that's a pretty good move. But I think that, you know, when we have investigations and we have located individuals who have firearms and ammunition, that should be a strict, an immediate remand. Okay, an immediate remand. Let me say this to the point that I think from information I got that one of the guns that was confiscated by the police here in Barbados was tied to a murder in New York. So that tells you that we have a very serious movement of ammunition and firearms, you know, internationally coming into Barbados. So I think it's very important that when the Barbados Police Service, that they're given leverage, that once an individual has been found with an unlicensed firearm and also ammunition, that there's an immediate penalty for that. Okay, the case can come later, but there should be a penalty for being found with an unlicensed firearm and ammunition. I mean, an immediate penalty on that alone, because
Yeah,
that
somebody here is saying that in Jamaica it starts at 15 years. I don't know. I don't know. I remembered 7 when I was growing up. Now let me ask you a question, guys. I want to hear. Can we? So we moved on from we've moved on, guys. So those of you who don't realize, from the death penalty, we are just quickly looking at gun court, and we went through all the different you know, the 3 areas that Jamaica covers. A good point, Kamar. Question is if the gun court will punish the gun importers. One would assume that that would be the case, that the gun importers, it has to do with gun. So one would assume that that would be the case, right? Okay. So no, but let's hear your thoughts about the gun court. All right. Let's hear your thoughts about it. The next area is this. One of the things that I notice, and I don't know if anybody else notices it, is that we don't have, we are not hearing any white Barbadians being attacked by these criminal elements. We don't hear any, as of right now, we're not hearing any robberies, right, of white Barbadians. And you know, and that's just me speaking. I didn't see anything. I went and I checked. I have not seen anything. I have not seen any reports. It could be underreported, not reported. My question is, if it is that it's not being reported, why is that so? Now, one thing we know, I'm going to put my viewpoint up of why it is, my opinion, not an expert. What I found, what I realized is that, having dealt with my white friends, you know, and I'm singling out white for a reason, to make a point here, is that you will find in a household, and if my white friends, if I'm wrong, message me and tell me. If I'm stereotyping, message me and tell me, okay? And please forgive me. But it's just my experience I'm speaking of, right? Everybody in the household have a gun. I used to have a white, I used to employ a white dance teacher. Can't give the name. And she would bring a gun in her bag to rehearsal. I'm telling you the dead truth. She opened her bag to take out her little whatever she has in the bag. You see the gun in the bag. At rehearsal, sir. And her and I had a conversation because we whatever, I don't want to say too much so we know who it is, but we would drive together, you know, and so on. We had a good relationship. And she's who made me understand how they think. If she's going walking, she's going walking, she walks with her gun on her. I'm serious. She was over like 60 something. She said she goes nowhere without her gun. A tiny little gun. I don't know what you call that kind of gun. She had in her bag. We had some other friends when we were doing our movies before they cracked down and everything. Where did we get our guns from? I say no more, to borrow. Right? Until they said, no, I couldn't do that. They wanted to give me a gun license. I'm like, oh, Lord, I'm scared. I don't want to get their guns. But I am saying to us, could it be that the criminals are smart and they know who have guns in this country? I am just wondering. I'll put that out there. But the big question here is, should the citizens begin to fight back against criminals in this country?
That's
your thoughts?
Yeah, most definitely. And I think, again, it's become very, very, very much open to us that, number one, Barbados needs to become safer, because by now, especially in the last 6 years, our streets should have been more lighted. Other security measures should be in place for sure, which have not been in place for a long time. Even areas where I grew up, still very much dark to this very day, and there's areas where people have to get off the bus and lay hours and walk home. So with all of this talk about Barbados being world class, we don't see that as it relates to the safety on our streets. The other element that is also very important is, again, you must understand that society has changed. The village is no longer the village. The heights no longer the heights. It's changed. It's changed drastically. And so a lot of the times the neighborhood watches, they don't actually work, because when you have a case where there's a new neighbor and you don't even know who your new neighbor is, you really can't function properly in that area. The other thing that we need is increased policing in areas, especially the increase of policemen on the road, especially at night. And they need to, I mean, we can do things, and let me just say this, the Barbados Transport Board, and the transport dimension needs to have connection with the police force, and especially when you have those last buses, those 11 o'clock and 12 o'clock buses that are moving out, those and people who are getting off and having to go to work, those areas, that element is susceptible. Increased security where individuals are escorted to their vehicles, especially females. That's also very, very important. So there are things that can be done, and I know for sure Barbadians know that the white community and parts of the Indian community are well established. They know that. They know that within the wider Black community of Barbados, that's not there. It's there in some elements of it, but it's not there on the wider level.
Yeah.
But,
so with that said, do you think, and this is for everybody, the phone line is now open. Do you think, say for example, my belief is this, and this might sound a bit cruel for some of you, and I know some of you might not like what I'm going to say, but I'm just being honest. I'm thinking, Apostle, that some of these young guys that, for example, the people that the two guys that cut out the door and go into the people's homes with guns to terrorize them, as they said they had a gun, right, to rob them and whatever else. My belief is this. If when the police came, they had to take those two boys out in an ambulance or throw them in the back of a truck because they're dead, those people in the house, I'm saying this now, and you know what, guys, it's just, I'm being honest. My belief is this: if you could be so, what's the word you used earlier, Reverend? You said that they were premeditative.
Yes.
Huh? You bring a saw to cut off somebody's house. You cut out the door. You're going to tell me if those people, tell me if I'm wrong, if they had a gun, a licensed firearm in their house, and their door is being cut off, and they put a couple shots in them, huh? And when the police come, they found it's bodies they're dealing with. You don't think, it's just my opinion. You don't think that a few of these others one you're going to stop and think twice? You don't think if a few of them are moved, picked up and put in body bags by the citizens that can do it? You don't think that a few of these going around pretend bad boys will begin to think twice? Just wonder. Some people say if the citizens start to arm themselves, then it can become dangerous for themselves too. There's also that. What about, should women? I heard Verla de Pisa was saying women are now getting pepper spray and all these kind of things to travel with to protect themselves. Should they do that? Interesting. It's interesting. There's a caller here. Yes, go ahead, caller. Welcome to the Marcia Week Show. You have to turn down your device, please. Yes, go ahead and make a quick, because we're late. Everybody that calls in is a quick comment, and we're moving on so we can get some calls in before we close. Yes.
Well, thank you very much, Marcia, and I thank the Apostle Scantlebury for his educational session. But we will continue to solve the social problems and criminal activity until we change our approach.
Can we hear? Can we hear? Are we hearing him? We're not hearing. Okay, hold a second. It might fall. Just hang on. We're not hearing. Let's try that again. Go ahead, please. Oh, wow. It's not working. Okay, caller, if you would call back, please. Caller, call back because something is wrong here. I don't know if Dave can come to try to see what's the matter. All right. So the phone, there's a problem with the phone, but let me try at least read the comments. Sonny says, totally agree. Yes, I need to make an example of them. I saw a message here from Kamar says that they will make it much harder for Black Bajans to get legal guns, and that's actually what I'm hearing is happening now. That they're making it difficult for Black Bajans to get, but I think people on a whole know to get guns, right? Yeah, let me see if this one is going through. Good night, caller. No, no, there's a problem there. There's some technical problems.
Marcia.
Hello?
I can hear you.
Yeah,
I
I know you would hear it, but we weren't hearing you on the show. Right. So,
okay.
Yes, go ahead, caller.
I'll try to be as brief as possible. I believe that we already have a death penalty. The wages of sin is death. And there are three words that I hate at times to hear, and those three words are the reality is. But the reality is the criminals are the ones that are enforcing the death penalty. And the reality is whether or not you like it or agree or don't agree, you will pay for what you allow or not allow. And the reality is it is evident that criminals are known. They are being paid to keep the peace. Imagine paying a criminal to keep the peace. And this is the worst part of the reality. The government seems to be refusing to let the police keep the peace. And that's my thing for the night.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for your comment. Thank you for making it nice and short. Thank you. And just let me someone said that Mrs. Zapisa didn't say that people were getting pepper spray. She said she has no knowledge of persons getting pepper spray, but it is illegal. Yes, I did say that it's illegal. I thought that's what I heard, and if I misspoke, I take that back. But that's what I thought I heard on the program, and the other lawyer was saying that it can be dangerous for people if they get, those who want to defend themselves with pepper spray can become dangerous for the people who are trying to protect themselves. Okay, but right. So I might have been wrong, and Judith is clarifying that. And thank you, Judith. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong about that. But that's what. But the point is, though, that I was talking to a young lady today. She's in her late 20s, and she told me she will be getting pepper spray because she is scared to go out. So yes, go ahead, Apostle.
Yeah, well, on some levels, I said this before, that this is a time for the Commissioner of Police and his team to come forward and speak to the public, and not be waiting on the Prime Minister and the Attorney General to tell the public about safety. It's their job to ensure the public, to serve, protect, and reassure. That's their job. And I think it's important for the Commissioner of Police to make some type of statement to the public right now about what they're intending to do to step up surveillance, to step up investigation, to step up security, to step up their acts of protection within the known areas of Barbados where these crimes are, being perpetrated. So I think it's very, very important to not only for them to talk about those things, but also to give the public some level of advice, about what they need to do in the meantime while they are doing their part. So it's going to be a combination of a number of things that will help to bring back, the public's trust and the safety of Barbadians while they're out there on a daily basis. And as you said, rightfully said, it's not happening among the whites, it's not happening among the Indians, it's happening among the Black people.
Yes. Thank you, sir. There's a caller on the line. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, blessings to you, Mark.
Yes,
Pastor and the panelists.
Yes, a quick comment.
My quick comment is, I against that penalty because you might got the death penalty for the wrong person. I feel that the young people, they just need help, guidance, and they need good jobs that I can see a future. And the gospel who have been crossfed, the poor people, you only hear about the Muslims, the whites, the Indians, or nothing. So again, this death penalty. But what needs to be done that the BLP needs to go and come down together and really help the people that are going to in need. Well, that's all there. Because how do we look at this dire state and what happened to ghettos right now is a generation curse. You know what I'm saying? So basically, it's just that the youngsters now rebelling because they can't get the help, I can't get the focus of seeing the future.
Okay.
So this death penalty, I really feel that I got to really take serious about this because I'm against it.
You're against it. Well, thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, blessings to everyone.
Yes, thank you for calling. Good night. Yes. There's let me get Mr. Nigel Newton. He was on earlier when we had the problem. Guys, this is your time. We're going to ask you to come in, to call in. We're also putting up some of your comments. Good night, Mr. Newton. We're able to get you back on. Just a nice, quick comment, sir. Go right ahead. Thank you.
Good night.
Yes, sir.
I think in our approach to social problems and criminal activity, we continue to fail because we are going about it in the wrong way. Our approach is not the right approach. We will never solve the social issues and the criminal activity in the present with the present approach. Okay, what I think we need to do is, first of all, is to decolonize the African soul. We are shaped and fashioned by everything that affected us during the time of slavery and colonization. We have not dealt with those issues, and until we free the African soul and free the African mind, and then we engage, re-socialize young men. Okay, we are not going to solve our problems. I did indicate to you at some point in time that while I was a probation officer, I developed a paper on the challenges and responsibilities of manhood. And until we are able to deal with the challenges of the young Black men and teach them how to be a man, we are not going to solve our problem.
Yes, thank you so much.
And the death penalty is not the answer.
Not the answer. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, Mr. Newton. Thank you. Okay, we have another person who was calling. This is their time and we went into it. So I'd like to, let me just apologize. We did announce that Daniel BOYCE, and there were two young men who were supposed to be on the show. They were in a class and they messaged me at minutes. I got a message from one from minutes to 7 that they would not be able to join tonight. So it's Apostle and I are on, and he's done a fantastic job. Okay, let's get the other caller in. Yes, you had called earlier. Sorry about that. So we're making sure that that we can hear you. Go ahead, sir.
Right. This is in response. Good night to the panel for sure. Possible. I was speaking of, I think, replying to, you were talking about the guns and the relationship between the guns and America and stuff like that. But what really makes my mind even go further, and when you hear the response from, there's a video circulating, I don't know how true it is, about the responses between the Prime Minister Motley and that of the President of America.
Right. Well, no, she has already, hold a second. So let's clarify that. The Prime Minister has already issued a statement that that's a fake video.
Correct, which is nonsense, right? But where I'm going with that is it not so that the influx of guns that get into Trinidad, the same route that they do, whether it be Venezuela and Guyana and whatever it be. That kind of thing has to be monitored as it relates to Barbados too, because what I'm saying is that the trend of shipment of guns getting into Barbados, that scenario that Apostle Canterbury made is speaking to that. The other thing I heard you speaking about is the government general situation, not government general, sorry, president situation. Well, I think most agents right now are some of them are very disgusted, and then some of them are probably wishing that they did get it on board. But to say that is you also have to say that the DLP is part to blame too, because you have to really, here's really DLP has now to stand up and give account of their stewardship and to show people that this last decade nonsense really was indeed not so. And that would really, but I think people by now they're seeing it. They don't really have much to explain. But I think what you're doing as it relates to the exposition of the pettiness of the government as it relates to, because I only call it petty when you can see that cybercrime kids and those things are being mounted around the surprise appearance of the Afrocentric Bank. And you may wonder, why am I spouting all these things at once? Because they're all interconnected. If you do your research about the Afrocentric Bank, the Afrocentric Bank is not going to say that they're going to support a cybercrime bill, but what they do is support digital, I call it digital uniformity within Africa. And the same kind of digital uniformity will find its way in Barbados and fluctuating if it can get its way throughout the Caribbean. So when you say A, you have to say B. It seems like the Martin-led administration is more focused about uniformity as it relates to digital control and the shutting up of people or shutting them down really than crime.
Yeah.
Because even at my last thing is that even at their best effort to manage crime, it is not happening.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate you calling from the diaspora. Thank you. Yes. Yes. All right, folks. This is we are going to just go another 30 minutes, finishing at 10:15. If the Reverend would allow us. And again, I'm apologizing for I did announce others would be on, and they did not get on tonight. We wanted some young people to be on tonight. They promised me they're going to come on, right? So yeah. All right. Anybody else? Any other calls? Did I miss anybody? If I missed you, don't get offended. Just call back, please. Okay. Yes. Oh, yes. Go ahead, Apostle, until we get a call.
Well, I think from the general consensus of the callers, everyone seems to have a very clear idea of what should be done going forward and what's not being done. But it's very, very clear to those of us who pay attention to what's happening here in Barbados is that much of what is happening is pretty much unheard of. I don't think many persons would have dreamed that this will be happening in Barbados today. Blatant daytime robberies, very violent shootings and different things that are happening. And I've tried my best for as long as I could to say to the public here in Barbados, listen, there's something that is very dangerous behind everything that's happening. And once you know what that is, then you know how to strategize. The one thing that I know that is going to be very, very important going forward is the position of the church and what is happening in Barbados right now. And we must have a church that, this is my opinion, we must have a church that is no longer partisan. We need a church that is for God and will stand with God and no matter what's happening. And realize that we are here to make sure that the will of God is done among the people that we get to serve. And we must not allow anything, any government, any type of bribery, any type of unrighteousness to interfere with the execution of our duties on a daily basis, to make sure that we can keep our people, our communities, our parish, and by extension, keep Barbados safe as well. So we as ministers, we have a part to play in what's going on in our nation as well. I think it's time for us to begin to lend our voices on a very stronger level to the ills that we're seeing in Barbados right now. We need to get back on track with Barbados becoming what God has planned for it to become.
Yes. Very much, sir. And I have, you see me looking at the phone here. Dave, and look at your phone. I'm seeing here something about the death penalty. It'd be interesting to read this.
Okay.
And I'm hoping that the person who sent it to me, if they could send me the actual article, send me the link to the article.
Okay.
This is interesting. The year that this was, and this is why I'm saying, I know we are various, and that's a good thing about us all. We're going to see things differently, and we are mature enough to see things differently. We don't agree all the time, but it's an interesting thing to note. I want people to watch this because I'm into my believe it or not, my study was accounting, and I love numbers. And when you look, Reverend, 2018 into 2019, you will see how the crime, the increase of crime in Barbados. There was a spike right after this government came in, and I told you what I found out, which I know you knew that a long time ago. That for me cements my understanding of the connection with a particular government to criminal elements. But the statistics show you, and this is what we would like the government to answer. When the government came in 2018, it's when we went like this. Look, it started to go up. That's the stats. Everybody knows it. Go and look at it. It's all over the internet. It's there in a graph. But Dave, if you check your WhatsApp, Dave, put this up for us before we go. Nobody's calling, so we have 7 minutes. Dave? Yes, it's coming. Thank you. It's interesting to look at when you think of that statistics, and I have shown you the graph on the show before, and you see it went up in 2018. It went down in COVID because nobody was going anywhere, but then it double time and went up again as soon as COVID was lifted, all of those lifted. But look at this. This is an interesting thing for Barbados. Dave, this was, what's the date on this? The 15th of April, 2019, Reverend. I am just putting it out here for us to think about, let's have a discussion. The recent public calls for the gallows to swing once more in response to the increase in gun violence, which has accounted for 12 of the country's 20 murders for the year so far, will not get the blessings of the UPP and the the Constitutional Amendment Bill 2019, which no longer makes it mandatory for murderers to be sentenced to death penalty, was passed last week in both houses of Parliament. In January 28, the Caribbean Court of Justice ruled that the mandatory death sentence was unconstitutional. However, on Sunday, Marshall argued. This is now, which Marshall you think this is, Apostle?
Right, please repeat that.
They said, however, on Sunday, Marshall argued.
Marshall.
This would have to be, it'd have to be Dale Marshall. That's what I'm assuming, the Attorney General. But anyway, I'm making that assumption. Marshall argued that it was now within the discretion of the judge to hand down the maximum sentence to the capital offense. Now, that I think we need to look at, because Dave, if you show the picture of the other one.
Okay.
Dave, show the other piece, please, if you can. We have a call. Good night, caller. Good night, caller.
Good night. Thanks for your show. It's very informative.
Yes,
And
thank you, sir.
my 2 cents worth is I support the death penalty.
Okay.
My personal reasons are, now you must send a stern message to the young people. And no, it's okay when a person take a nice person's life. But no, they don't want to die, you know. And remember that when a person is on death row and you take one, like all of those rest of the prisoners on death row, they tremble because they know when their turn is going next. So it's only fair that you send a stern message and not be so easy. Even if you abolish it, even if you take it off the legislation, but you have to send the terms to get this crime on the country. It's not going to stop the crime, but it will help deter it, because these young people don't want to die. That's my 2 cents.
Okay, they don't want to die, and so you believe that death penalty. So we're all divided on it, and that's a good thing. We can have a discussion. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. And Dave, I don't know, Dave, the second piece of the same thing, Dave, if we could just show that now. Barbados Parliament passes constitutional amendment eliminated mandatory death penalty sentences, and that was reported on the 15th of April 2019. I'm just wondering if there's a correlation. I don't know. I don't know. Mr. Your thoughts? Any final thoughts before we go?
Very, very interesting. But you know, as a believer, I have to say this: it took someone being handed the death penalty for me to have my salvation. And for those of us who are believers to have their salvation. And what I want to say here is, when we're talking about this, we're not immediately sending anyone to the death penalty, but we do want our nation safe. And we do want these very unnecessary but very violent states of gun violence and murder in our country to stop. It's not going to do Barbados well as a nation to end up being on the list of countries where people are being advised not to travel to because of this level of activity that we're having. At some level, we have to stop it if we want to protect elements of our tourism industry. And if we want our people to live and to live safe. Every man deserves the right to live safe and to live free in his own country. And when that is threatened, then something has to be done about it. And I think what we have been discussing here tonight, just elements of, you know, what can be some of the solutions to help curb what we are seeing happen. And it just takes a level of maturity from our listeners and from our viewers and from our you know, the public to understand that, you know, sometimes a person might be on the fence until it comes closer to home. And then somebody related to them or close to them comes under this type of violence, and then they want to change. But now is the time for us to sit and look at these things critically, analyze them, and to implement necessary solutions that would, again, make Barbados a safe place to be, whether it's during the day or whether it's at night. Someone who's been working hard all day, gone into that late shift, now they're on their way home to take care of their family, to see, you know, about the needs of their family, should be able to leave their work and go home and take care of their families. They shouldn't be subjected to this type of violent, premeditated activity at all. And I think the time to do something about it is now. And if we get together as a people and, you know, put whatever differences behind us and we sit down, strategize, do what's necessary, we can make Barbados a very safe place again. I believe it's doable.
Well done. Well done. Oh, Miss Apostle Scantlebury. Oh, we stretch you tonight, boy, man. Listen, I know you came from church and you jumped right on, and I thank you so much. This was very engaging, and we thank you so very much. On Sunday, folks, we at Sunday at 7 p.m. we're going to have our special show with the opposition leaders from various Caribbean countries are going to be on. Thank you, Dave. That's what I was hoping you would put that up. And so we're going to ask you to when you see it, share it. Share it out, share it to people. And they're going to talk about elections. So we're going to come off the crime a little bit and talk about elections, rigged elections. Are they rigged or real? And it's a question we're asking. We're going to talk about the truth about elections in the Caribbean. And that is 7 o'clock. We want everybody to join in and to be part of the show and to share. We want, share to Guyana, share to Dominica, and of course share in Barbados and throughout the rest of the Caribbean. Okay, so thank you so very much, everybody, for coming on. We had a very spirited time tonight, and we forgot to announce there is a Walk Holy, a band that you know what I guess I've been causing a lot of trouble in this country for a while. We will talk a little bit about this on Sunday, Dave, but Walk Holy is on the 28th at 7 o'clock at Faith Temple Church, is having a soca and social commentary evening called Pure. And we're looking at pure in the purest sense of the word, of pure soca and pure social commentary. And that is going to be at Faith Temple on the 28th of June at 7 o'clock. You want to hear some good calypso. Colin Spencer is going to be there, Blood, Sammy Jane, the Apache, and more. Okay, $20, and the doors open at 6 p.m. Okay, and the DJ will be there early. So that's a fun event that you could go to as well. All right. So folks, this is where we say good night. Good night to everyone. And thank you for joining. And once again, we want to say to Apostle, we so appreciate you being on tonight and your labor of love. Thank you so much. Thank you. God bless. Bye-bye.